Good morning to everyone, especially stand-up comedians. I was late to the stand-up comedy game. I'm sure I knew about it earlier, but the first time I remember knowing what stand-up was, I was at a class graduation show for a friend. Our whole friend group came to support him, and I don't think I had ever laughed so hard in my life. I was 26, maybe 27, and I decided I needed to take a stand-up class. Then a few years ago, my friend from New York was out visiting me in Colorado, and we watched Taylor Tomlinson's Netflix specials. Her comedy was so relatable to me. Not only was it funny and clever, but it made me feel a lot less alone. I have bipolar, just like Taylor Tomlinson, and seeing someone turn that diagnosis into brilliant comedy felt so empowering. Watching these Netflix specials opened up another world of comedy to me, and I began watching special after special after special on Netflix. I could not get enough. And again, I was reminded how much I enjoyed stand-up and how much I wanted to try it myself. Over the past few years, I have grown to really love stand-up, clearly. But it's more than just the final product that I love. I enjoy seeing the anatomy of a good joke. I love going to a great stand-up show and then going back the next night to see how the audience changes the show or how the comedian adjusts their jokes or tries out new ones. The stand-up process is fascinating to me, and of course, I do love the output as well. I went to a show by one of my favorite comedians this weekend. I went with a friend on Friday night and then again with my little sister on Saturday night. And yes, I did sneak her in. She was 10 days too young to get in. I listened to the comedian and his opener, change up jokes on the second night and try out some new ones. Some did great and some really flopped. The audience had a very different vibe each night as well. But both nights, my stomach ached from laughing so hard, and both nights I left feeling so inspired. I love watching this art form so much, so maybe it is something I can do too. It combines some of my favorite things, laughing, writing, and being sort of ridiculous. And of course, I am a sucker for attention and having a room full of eyes on my creative work. So call me self-centered, but I sort of love the idea of that. It's been more than 4 years since that class graduation show when I first remember being aware that stand-up comedy was a thing. I still haven't taken that stand-up class, but this year I am committing to it. So as long as there isn't another global pandemic and I can find a class within an hour or two of home, I will be making this happen finally. Leaving the shows last night and tonight, I haven't had such a great time in a long, long time. And feeling inspired is just too wonderful of an emotion to waste. Good morning to everyone, especially stand-up comedians. I'm Charlotte Lehman, and this is Good Morning Especially. Every day, we're here to tell everyone good morning, especially to a certain someone. This podcast is a group project, so I want to hear who you're saying good morning to. You can email us at goodmorningespeciallypod@gmail.com. Either write it out in an email and I'll read it, or record a voice memo and send it for me to play on the podcast. I can't wait to hear who you're wishing a good morning.